Welcome back, everyone, to the Tron podcast, the Randomness of Nothing. Now, this is going to be a big year for 2026. We're doing in-person interviews, and this is the martial arts edition. This is my coach, owner of Trading Grounds Combat Sports, Coach Josh Pruchniewski. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good to see you, Rashad.
Good to see you.
Glad to have you come by
I
today.
felt like I just saw you yesterday.
Yeah, I think I was just yesterday.
So, first of all, I'm really excited because as a martial art practitioner, I found your place because I was really interested in what you do. I was looking at Muay Thai, and you train a variety of styles. I came from karate, and I said, man, I want to challenge myself to do a different art. So let's talk about what you do.
So in here we train fitness number one, right? Just being in good general shape and good health. So we'll do some cardio and high intensity interval training where the goal is just to, get you stronger, build your endurance, build your stamina.
Yeah.
Of course, lose weight. That's one of the main things for most people.
Yeah.
And then on the martial arts side of things, Muay Thai, with a mix of like kickboxing and taekwondo. We also do boxing classes, which I have competed in myself, but I also am not like a boxing specialist, so I delegate that to Coach Alex, who you know in here, Alex.
Fantastic coach.
We also do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which I'm not an expert on it, just a blue belt. I've been training about probably 5 years dedicated to jiu-jitsu, so I always tell people when we're doing the class, I'm not a black belt. I'm not giving my expert opinion. I'm just teaching what I know. It's BJJ 101.
Right.
And then on top of that, we also do a little bit of low-level wrestling, and then, of course, a mix of like I said, striking and grappling.
I think what fascinated me so much when I first came from a karate background was like, okay, your guys' kicks in Muay Thai, there's a kick is much different in Muay Thai than this.
Right.
Like you snap in karate and taekwondo, but I wasn't used to getting my leg grabbed. I wasn't used to getting kicked in the shin.
Yeah.
Right. So all these things, all of a sudden, you're like, oh my God, there's a different way of actually getting hit.
Right.
Right. And then you get the way the hands are up and everything like that. So what was your introduction into martial arts?
My introduction really was, I think like a lot of people, like classic movies. You know what I mean? I watch a lot of like Bruce Lee or Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh yeah.
Different, hero type movies where the archetype is, kicking butt in some way or another.
Yeah.
That was really what got me interested in it. It wasn't until I was in maybe my sophomore year of high school where I decided I wanted to go try it out myself. I went to a place in Monroe, and at the time martial arts wasn't super big, so this was in the back storage room of a Powerhouse Fitness where there's maybe 6 other guys there.
Yeah.
You pay like $20 to get some training for a month.
Exactly.
I continued playing hockey though. I played hockey my whole life, so I kind of gave up on martial arts for a little bit at the time to really like stick with hockey. I plan on going to college for it and everything like that. Just because the major that I picked, I ended up going to a technical college where they didn't have a hockey team. So that was the end of my hockey career. Right. Once I went out to college, came back from college, then it was like, okay, like I need a sport again. I need something where I'm
Fresh that itch.
Getting a little competitive. So that's when I went to Stars and Strikes in Westland, started training with my coach, James Benito, over there. And he taught me mostly everything I know, about 95%.
Fantastic.
I've gone to other gyms here and there, across the country, out of the country, Costa Rica, Mexico, stuff like
awesome.
that.
That's fantastic.
Learned a little bit there, but I credit James to most of that.
That's amazing. You know what's funny is that, martial arts, when you did it when it wasn't really popular, right? So now it's due to television, obviously UFC and mixed martial arts and things like that. It's very popular. But at the time when I got into it, it was coming off like the Karate Kid phase and things like that. Like I said, Van Damme, Bruce Lee films. But it was still like strip mall, kind of like just one location. Then there was another location like 25 miles away.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
For instance, like jiu-jitsu. There was no jiu-jitsu places at all.
No.
Like growing up as a kid. It was high school wrestling, and then it was taekwondo or karate for the most part. So now you get a chance to learn these different disciplines and styles. And what's funny, at least for me, is like when you get introduced to a new style. And it helps to come here because you kind of your mind kind of gets focused that there's only one way to fight. Yes. There's only one technique to kind of look at and things like that. And then all of a sudden somebody hits you with something, you're like, what the heck was that? Well, you mean I can get kicked there?
Right.
Or when I did jiu-jitsu, and I still do it, I got took to the ground, and you're like, oh my God, I'm absolutely getting manhandled. It feels like a small car on top.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're just doing nothing but surviving your first few times when you're trying to roll with somebody and you haven't done it before.
And then somebody smaller than you.
Right.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. My first introduction to grappling, real quick, was I was at Michigan State. I graduated from State. So I was in I did a semester of the judo club. I was doing taekwondo with a really good instructor in 𝐸𝐿 out near campus. and Master Shin. And so then I did judo. I was like, yeah, let me try this. Let me see what this is all about.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, to your point, you're just getting manhandled.
Right. You're getting flipped from places, swept, and
I almost got knocked unconscious a couple times just from the fall because you don't really know how to fall.
Right.
So you're just like all these things that you're learning from the ground up. And what you do really cool here is first you're building a base for people. You're like, hey, let me get people in shape first. Where's your condition? I think you do a fantastic job of, okay, if you're here to be a pro fighter, if you have previous martial arts experience, or if you're just to get some activity level, you're really for everybody.
I try to be.
Yeah.
I try to be. And I give credit to my coach for that because he always has taught, all levels. It's not like just pro fighters or just beginners. He's always taught people from the ground up, right? And I was one of those people. So when I first went in, I didn't express any desire to compete or anything.
Right.
I was just in there just for a good workout, trying to stay in shape, trying to learn some new skills.
Yeah.
And he never pushed me in that direction of like, okay, you want to fight. But you look across the gym, and there's these other guys who are working at a whole different level. Yeah. They're training with a different intensity, different desire, and being a competitive person. I looked at those people and I'm like, I kind of want to do that. Yeah. Like I kind of want to try and see if I can do what that guy's doing.
Yeah. I think what the fascinating part too is like size doesn't matter. Now I'm not dissing you, but you fight featherweight, right?
Right. Yes.
You fight a featherweight, and there is something where martial arts has designed itself to where the smaller opponent can be unafraid or okay with being against a larger opponent because it's not a bodybuilding contest. Right. It's not a weightlifting contest. It's a technique. It's power, size, strength, and speed.
Yeah.
And those myths are busted particularly when somebody is really good and they're fast. They know what to do with somebody.
Right.
And so what the beauty about martial arts is that it brings people from different statures, size, weights, and it can basically put itself to what you are good at. Yeah. Some people can't do a spinning round kick, and that's okay. Maybe you can just do a standard round kick.
Right.
And as long as you fit that in the parameters of your own body, that works really well for you.
Yeah, martial arts can be a great equalizer like that. Like it is, it's, especially when it comes to like open rule sets, or let's say, it's a street fight or a bar fight or something like that. You might have somebody who outweighs you, 2 to 1. They're twice your size, and that if they punch you, that's about it. Yeah. But if you're a wrestler, a jiu-jitsu guy or something, you're like, I still have this strength that I could use that maybe he doesn't know, and I could take him over like that.
I always call martial arts, whatever style people practice, to get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
Whether you wrestle, whether you jiu-jitsu, karate, Muay Thai, box, have a get out of jail free card. Right?
Yeah.
So like at the very least, you're like, hey man, if anything fails, if there's a situation to get myself out of, and I'm not advocating violence, but if you can at least get yourself to at least get that person to think that you can defend yourself, that's the first step in defending yourself.
Right.
Right. So what was funny was, because I'm really drawn towards the jiu-jitsu class, the Muay Thai class here and the boxing class, because I came from a striking background, is even when I get collar tied, like how exhausting that is.
Yes.
Like somebody grabbing on your neck because your body follows your head.
Yeah.
And, that's not an easy technique to get out of. So when you started doing Muay Thai, what did you learn, was the most difficult part about it?
Difficult as far as physically taxing, I would say you hit the nail right on the head. So like the clinch work, because they're not just making you move quickly. You have to move quickly, but you're also exerting so many different muscles to fight out of a position, or you got some guy pulling on you or pushing on you with 100% strength, and you have to combat that with your own strength. But of course, if you're doing it wrong, technique-wise, they're just going to use your own strength against you, and you could end up throwing yourself on the ground, something like that. So as far as physically taxing, hardest part of Muay Thai, that would be it right there. I think for me personally, one of the hardest parts was learning proper distance management. Of course, like you said, I fight at featherweight. Yeah. I'm always have been one of the smallest guys in the room as far as sparring and drilling and all this kind of stuff. And you have to figure out how to get to where you want to be to land your shots, but also get back to that safe distance where you're no longer in danger. Because two people could stand in front of each other like a hockey fight and just keep swinging on each other the whole time, but then it's all luck. You know, it's like who's going to eat the first punch, whose chin strong enough to handle that. Right. You want to be doing it in a technical way where you're not, just making it a 50-50 chance. You're giving yourself the best odds of actually hitting them and not being hit back.
What's funny is, there's no workout that substitutes doing an actual combat sparring session with somebody.
Right.
Like I'm pretty decent in the gym. I work out, I lift weights, do my calisthenics. But for anybody who's ever done martial arts, 3 minutes against another person throwing punches and kicks, you can't replicate that on a treadmill.
No, not at all.
It's not even close. It's not even comparable. And you are breathing heavy. Your muscles get heavy, and then you realize you may look good, but you're not in shape. Right?
Yeah.
And so you really focus really well, I think, on getting people in shape. You're like rope, jump rope, push-ups. You're doing burpees. You're back up, and you do that before people are even getting introduced to actually hitting the bag or sparring with somebody because you need to find out where they're at for their conditioning level. You do a great job at that too.
Right. And once we get into drills and stuff, then of course like all fitness levels can take part in that. You don't got to be like in super great fighting shape, but I try to like it is a fighting gym. It's a martial arts gym. So the way that I try to have people work out beforehand is replicate what, even if you're not a fighter, what a fighter would do, right? So like things that are going to get you in functional shape to where you can just be semi-athletic, right? So like you said, like jumping rope and, shuffle drills where you're moving your feet, push-ups, sit-ups, all that kind of stuff, just trying to get yourself in shape the way a fighter would be. And if you are one of those guys that wants to be a fighter, things that are going to get you in shape specifically for that fight that's coming up. Right. And people see fighters all the time, like especially, like UFC is a big thing now. If those guys are in that great of shape, the workout they're doing must be working.
Unbelievable.
Right?
Yeah, and what's fascinating with the way that they're in shape is the way they can transition from ground to striking, right? So, when I came from striking and then you're on the ground, like it's a different set of cardio. Yeah. It's a different set of muscles, right? Like you almost tap just out of just like pure exhaustion, right?
Right.
Maybe you're not
I've seen it happen.
Oh yeah, you're just like, yeah, man, just what? Let's round this.
Yeah.
Good job, but I need to get back up on my feet. Right. And I think one of the fascinating things too is when you say replicate real life, like in real life, you can have a belt on, you can have shoes on, you can have jeans on, which is going to restrict a lot of those type of aerial kicks that you may or may not want to throw. So I tell people all the time, like, listen, I have a karate background. I can't kick to the head in real life with pants on. Yeah. You can't. It's going to be waist, it's going to be left thigh, it's going to be shin, knee, things like that. Speaking of which, those shin and knee kicks and those calf kicks are absolutely brutal.
Yes.
Those things hurt.
Yep. Right. And it's funny, too, because the calf kicks that you mentioned specifically, people have done it, right? But it's become a new phenomenon over maybe the last 5 years or so.
Benson Henderson was big into that stuff.
Yeah, but it became so much bigger over the last 5 years when you see champions like Alex Pereira, he's won fights basically just because of that, and you realize how much it immobilizes you. And it's not until you really eat one that you're like, okay, I see why these work. It makes it hard to put pressure on your leg again. Yeah. And even just the upper thigh kicks, right? Yeah. Same thing. It's if you've ever gotten a Charlie horse before, which is something most people can relate to. Yeah. It's like having that happen in the exact same spot 20 times in a row, not just by somebody punching you, but a leg which has got a lot more power going into it.
I trained with a really good friend of mine named Justin. He owned a place in Livonia, which for people who are listening, is suburban Detroit, which is where we're at. And we would do tiki time. We would kick the thighs. Yep. He kicked the ball of his foot. He was doing 𝐲𝐴. He was a black belt instructor in 𝐲𝐴. And he kicked me so hard. It, like you said, it had that Charlie horse. And I couldn't walk straight. It was one kick.
Right.
And I couldn't walk for 3 days. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I could not believe how bad that hurts.
Oh, yeah. You go to sit down on the couch the next day or something, and as you bend your leg, you're like, what the heck is going on?
It's ridiculously painful. It's ridiculously painful. And, coming from different styles, it's kind of cool, too, because on the flip side, you can show guys some things that they haven't seen. Right. So when I'm going against one of your guys in Muay Thai, and I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea for me to really stand in front of them for too long because they have very hard and powerful kicks. I'll try to dance around them a little bit, do a kick that's snapping, or switch my feet. Right. And I notice that can be effective because whenever you get people who are learning different styles, I know it sounds corny, but it's like a blood sport or Enter the Dragon. You're trying to kind of figure out what can work against them and their tendencies and their patterns and maybe use it a little bit against them. It's all friendly. Nobody's trying to hurt anyone.
Right.
But you're just like, man, I'm going to have some
trying to prove your martial art a little bit and see where it fits into the mix. And
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's one thing where I can really, I can thank my coach, do it enough, but I can thank my coach over at Stars and Strikes a lot because he did train. He was a black belt in multiple striking disciplines. Yeah. Kickboxing doesn't necessarily have a black belt, but he was a
level.
Excellent kickboxer.
You're very familiar with the
And
school.
the way he mixes his techniques together, I've learned to see a little bit of everything, learned to mix a little bit of everything in with my own striking. So you don't really see, you know, crescent kicks or spinning hook kicks or like stuff like that, spinning back kicks, spinning side kicks in Muay Thai, but they're all useful techniques, right? They all come from different martial arts. And if you just learn when to time that in, then you can kind of mix it in with your own Muay Thai, or when somebody else throws it on you, you're not completely taken off guard where it's like, oh God, how do I deal with this, right? I've seen this a little bit before. I know, okay, if they're spinning into this kick, I kind of step the other way. Yeah. And it's useful to know a little bit of everything like that.
That's the beauty of it, right? So after, you know, I think that one of the beauty about it is if you do come from karate or Muay Thai or striking-based, you know, kickboxing, you still know what a kick looks like. You still know what foot movement looks like. You still at least have the acknowledgement that, okay, that happened to me once or twice. I can adapt. You know, you're not a fish out of water, so to speak. Right. They may throw from different angles and different shots, but at least you can like see body movement, and shoulders can tell a story. You can see when somebody's turning, things like that. And what I was curious about was, you're also a professional fighter too, as well. Number of fights under your belt.
Not professional. I'd say high level fighter. Actually, because I am still competing. I've just completed my 12th kickboxing. Well, I kind of mashed kickboxing and Muay Thai in the same group just because they're so similar, aside from a few different rule set changes. But between Muay Thai and kickboxing, I've had 12 fights. My last one was about 6 months ago. I still plan on doing about 3 more this year. And then, like, that was kind of a number I had in my head, not for any specific reason, but I wanted to get 15 fights in before I actually decided to go pro. Because here in Michigan, going professional is a choice that you make between you and your coach. It's not like you have to pass some certain test or have like some certain record beforehand. You like register with the state, right? So I go on a website, and when I'm filling out my form, it says, you know, pro kickboxer or amateur kickboxer. So I wanted to get a certain amount in before I checked off that box for pro kickboxing.
For your own personal.
Once you go there, you can't go back. So I've been trying to fight the best kickboxers and stuff at amateur, and try to see as many different people who are my own size, people who are in the same weight class but taller. I fought all the way from 125 to 145. And I fought guys that are, I'm 5'5". So I fought a guy who was 6'1" at 125 pounds. And that's
a challenge. That's a high mountain to climb. That's almost not fair.
It's good to get that experience in though at the amateur level, because you know the stakes aren't as high. You're not putting that on your pro record.
125 pounds at 6'1".
Yes.
That's real thin.
Yeah, that was a number one contender fight that I fought with him, and it was a good experience. It taught me how to, you know, get in on somebody who had that much reach on me. I really had to, after round 1, had to change my game plan a little bit. Just sit on the inside, try to clinch him up as much as possible, and you know, you do that enough, and then you take that experience, and you're like, all right,
wonderful.
I've learned enough to where I can try to fight some pros.
What's funny is that obviously, and I'm sorry I misspoke earlier. What's funny is I did a lot of Taekwondo tournaments in college, right? And so at the time, my instructor, I'm not sure how many schools he has now, but he had 2 schools. And so, you know, there was a yellow belt, and he was like 6 foot. I think I had my green or my blue in Taekwondo. And he was like 6'3". And when you see that foot coming at you, and you're 5'8", and you're like, man, this ain't right. Like, and you're trying to figure out, like, if you get blasted in the face, right? So to your point, you make that first round adjustment, because he used to do sparring on Saturdays at one of the schools that I would go to, and you're just like, this is not right. This is terrible.
Yeah, like you said, it's almost like a form of cheating. Like, how are you this much taller than me? And of course, like the range is one thing, they can reach further. But also, like with the kicks and stuff, it's like a 6'1" guy throwing a kick to my head is not the same as me throwing a kick to his head. He doesn't have to try as hard for it. Doesn't have to be as flexible. Doesn't expend as much energy getting his leg up that high. It's just natural for him.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because you know I had to jump at times to try to land things. Right? So I got the sub 6 foot group definitely knows exactly how you feel. I haven't competed anywhere near at the level that you have, but when I did tournaments, and I was usually I'm short from my from my age and everything, so I sympathize, man.
But that reach difference is a reach difference, whether it's at a high level or low level, right? If you and your opponent are even skill wise and everything, it's like that's it's an advantage that you got to overcome.
Yeah.
Disadvantage for you, advantage for them.
Well, John Jones had the 84-inch, wingspan. Just
right.
That's criminal.
Yeah.
That's,
oh yeah. He was
being
definitely gifted physically for sure.
It's amazing.
Great fight IQ, and he knows. Obviously, he works hard when he's training for a fight. He knows when to throw the right things, but yeah, you can't discount the massive advantage he has as far as like being tall and being in great shape.
I mean, it's just that's one of those 1 in a million type people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, where can people find you at? Because I always find it appreciative of people's time to be able to get a chance to interview and your time. I've spent a lot of time with you, and training's been great. But for the purpose of the show, where can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, my own personal account where I'm posting like kind of my own continuing fight journey, my own fitness, a little bit of my dog on there as well. So that's JMP_MMA.
Yeah.
I also post most of the stuff from the gym over at Training Grounds Combat Sports.
Right.
Just all, no spaces, no nothing. Training Grounds Combat Sports on Instagram. We're also Training Grounds MMA on TikTok, and then the same name, Training Grounds Combat Sports, on Facebook as well.
And I'm definitely part of that Facebook group. Like I said, I'm looking forward to being able to train a lot more this year with you. I've always learned a lot of valuable things. You have great students, great tutelage, great teaching. I can't say enough nice things about this place.
I appreciate it.
It was so good to find a Muay Thai place around here.
Yes.
I was like, you kidding me? There's one.
That was the number one thing that got me to come to this area. Was I've always been training out in Westland. Again, Stars and Stripes, probably the best gym north of here. But I've always been training out there since 2000. What is it? 12?
Yeah.
2013. It was like right around the new year. I remember when I started. But it's a 45-minute drive.
Oh yeah.
All the way out there, all the way back, and I would do it when I started. I was in there 4 to 5 days a week. That's an hour and a half every single day, right? When you got a family and you got a busy job, it's a lot to dedicate to just going to training.
Snowy in Michigan in the weather.
Yeah, and it wasn't until maybe 6 years ago I started teaching at a cardio kickboxing gym over here in Woodhaven. They're since closed down, but it was just cardio kickboxing. So a lot of the clientele was, like moms, older guys that had no interest in fighting at all. They just wanted to do like a quick half-hour workout and get in shape. And I'd have guys come in and say, "Hey, do you guys spar here?" I had to be like, "Unfortunately, no, we're not that type of gym." But I learned that there is a big appetite in this area for Muay Thai, for a real fighting gym. So once I got to the point where I could teach, I was running some classes over at Stars and Strikes. Felt confident with my teaching ability there. I was like, all right, we're gonna open this up in Brownstown and see how it goes.
Listen, man, the need was definitely there because at the end of the day, people always are yearning to learn more styles, and a lot of these people who are from suburban, area of Detroit, a lot of things are more north.
Yes.
Whether it's capoeira, Muay Thai, there's different styles that are better suited maybe in certain areas demographically wise.
It seems that way because this area seems to be dominated by jiu-jitsu a lot.
Yes. And it's karate and stuff like that, whereas you'll find Detroit has more boxing and things like that. So you start factoring commute where you want to train. So it was really cool when I saw this down here because I always wanted to learn the clinch work, the knees, the kicks, things like that.
Right.
And incorporating what I learned from my very good instructors that got me to where I felt confident to be able to try a new style.
Yeah.
So what is your martial arts journey? What's the next evolution for you?
Next evolution for me, so I'm 31, almost 32. I'll be 32 this month. I maybe got a few more years left of fighting in me, and I'm not doing it to become a glory kickboxer or a 1FC fighter or make it to the UFC. I just do it because I love it.
Challenge yourself.
I love the competition. Yeah. I love getting in there and being able to, for lack of a better word, beat the crap out of somebody and get myself tested a little bit. Of
course.
So I'm just having fun with it, right? And I'm trying to get as much experience as I can and fight the best guys that I can. But I'm maybe only doing that for a few more years. It's not a forever career that you want to be fighting and losing brain cells until you're 50. So my main goal right now, even though I am still competing for fun, it's really just to keep building this gym up.
Right.
I want to get to a point where we have a standalone gym, right? Where if you've been in here before, you know that I'll I'll yell at people every now and then for banging into the walls a little too hard because we don't want to be upsetting the neighbors or anything.
Absolutely.
So I'd like to get a standalone gym. I'd like to.
You're on your way there with the way this place is growing.
Yeah, and it's New Year's time too. It's especially going great right now. But the main goal is just having guys like fight competitively, do well when they do fight competitively, and then also people to come in here and achieve their own fitness goals, whether that's just a weight loss or building muscle or maybe they want to be the next UFC superstar. Sure. It's like I want to help them on their journey for that.
And it's been a pleasure to be a student, and I really appreciate your time. I want to do obviously more in-person interviews with this show. I think martial arts, because it means so much to me. It meant so much that you took the time out to be able to do this.
Of course, yeah, I'm happy to.
I'm like, being a geek in martial arts, it's so fascinating to be a part of the rich history, training somewhere in the world. You're training a style that started hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
And it's an honor that you take time out and coach as well as you do. So I really appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I'm willing to talk about this anytime. I can spend hours just talking about martial arts and everything.
I appreciate you. And like I said, my competing days I never was a high level practitioner. I'm more than happy to stay at the level that I'm at, because there's nothing good about a 43-year-old dude trying to hang with the young bucks.
Hey, you've been building the skills of superpower.
Exactly. So this is the Tron podcast. Just really appreciate it. I was at Training Grounds Combats in Brownstown, Michigan with my coach, Josh Pruchniewski. Really appreciate you.